Welcome everybody to the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card reading. So today's pick a card reading is asking how can you be wise as serpents, as the saying says. So using wisdom, cleverness, understanding to navigate a situation, possibly one that is of conflict or complexity or where you don't have all the information, could be anything. But this is initially in honor of the fact that I'm filming it during the Chinese Year of the Serpent or Year of the Snake. And I did actually originally aim to have this out for the Chinese New Year, but the thing that was originally inspiring me to do this reading was that I had ordered a new deck called the Spiritual Snake Tarot, which I think was published sort of in honor of the Year of the Snake as well. But as it happened, the publishing house didn't actually distribute the decks until after Chinese New Year. So what that meant is that this is sort of the earliest that I could film and get the reading out. But in one way, it doesn't really matter that much because this is, as I say, publishing in the Year of the Snake, and it may pick up for those who see it at that time some of how that energy operates for you. But it is also a timeless reading because it's not just in the Year of the Snake that we need the wisdom of serpents. So that's what we're looking at. Like where and in what area do you need that and how do you use it and so forth. So to help with the choice, I thought I'd also use the Sacred Serpent Oracle deck I have, so to be an entry point in. And you can see there's also some blue dragonfly cards. I don't know what they are, intuitively chosen underneath to set the scene for this. But this will hopefully, the Sacred Serpent deck may help you choose. If you don't already know just intuitively which one or ones you want to go to, or if you don't always go to pile 3 or whatever it might be, you can, of course, go to more than one, as I always say. But otherwise, maybe this will give a bit of an idea of some of the energy that could be around in terms of this particular reading. So for pile number 1, we have Jormungda. Now, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that is sort of like a world snake, a chaos snake, a creative snake, a world snake from sort of Norse mythology. And the card talks about the end of a cycle. For pile number 2, we have wit and cunning, talking about knowledge is the solution, like understanding something. And for pile number 3, we have she-viper, which says use your venom. So very different sort of like energies to come into this reading, or where you may need the wisdom of serpents. So hopefully that will help you choose. When you know what reading or readings you want to go to, I've got the timestamps as always in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome pile 1 to your reading. So you came to the mighty Jormungda, the Norse mythology world serpent, very similar to the Ouroboros and other major sort of chaos and creation serpents in other mythologies and religions. Jormungda is related to Ragnarok, which is kind of like the end of the world type energy, or at least major revolution, major turmoil, major change. So there is a kind of a tower card energy to this. So I think that if you were drawn to this reading, there is a need to use wisdom, your wisdom, to navigate major change, maybe endings and renewals. And it usually is renewals as well, just as the world serpent swallows its own tail. An ending creates a beginning. What is interesting is I think that you use your wisdom in finding peace, being in the center of the storm and then finding peace afterwards. Because when I have a look at the blue dragonfly cards, we have I am listening, the subconscious, the intuition, the message from spirit, and I am at peace, feeling at home, finding serenity, being with yourself. So I feel as though for you have a wisdom at times of major change, whether it's in the world, whether it's nationwide, whether it's local, whether it's personal, to see this as a process, to understand it as a process, and from there to be able to go within and come to peace with what has occurred and allow a connection to spirit. So I think you see the bigger picture. I think your wisdom is all about that. And it's kind of impersonal in a way. I think that you can see the bigger tides of history, you can see the macrocosm in the microcosm, let's put it that way. And I think this is suggesting that right now you need the wisdom of serpents because there is something in your life that is changing. It could be a relationship, it could be a career, it could be family stuff, it could be socially, politically. And it's a fairly major thing, as I say, analogous to a tower moment. But your wisdom is in the serenity and the connection to spirit, the kind of almost surrender to that allows things like grace, that allows the universe to move towards you and move with you because you're not pushing against it. So let's explore this a bit more. And I want with tarot, firstly, to look at what is your special wisdom? What makes this something that you are able to navigate? We'll then have a look at what in your life in particular is calling to this. So we might get a little bit of an idea about whether this is career or emotional or spiritual or what the tower moment in a way is. And then we'll look at what new wisdom is going to emerge when you get, I think, to this peaceful and serenity-based acceptance. So firstly, let's just a little bit about what is your special wisdom that is being called upon here. We have the Queen of Pentacles, the Seven of Swords reversed, the Ace of Cups reversed, the King of Cups reversed, and the Four of Pentacles reversed. So firstly, you are a still point in the middle of things. You are commitment, you are loyalty, and you are very practical. And you know how to, in a sense, I feel like the Queen of Pentacles, out of all the queens in the tarot deck, is the most grounded and the most able to weather the storm. So I think it's really interesting that the serpent is coming down through the trees here, because it makes me think, it's not bamboo that we're seeing there, but it makes me think of the resilience of bamboo that moves with changes and bends with changes when it's necessary and then comes back to itself. So I think part of your wisdom is understanding the core things that are important and staying still and centered within those. Very realistic with the Seven of Swords reversed. Very hard to trick you, actually. I think if there's a lot of turmoil going on, you'll have a great clarity in what it's all about and what must be maintained and what must be let go of. You're also incredibly protective of the heart. So in all change, you go within the heart, but you protect it with the Ace of Cups. You don't show what this means to you emotionally. It's like you don't even buy into that during change. You're kind of more focused with King of Cups on healing others and hearing what others are doing. Because with Four of Pentacles reversed, you know if this energy is coming through, something has to shift. And there is no point in holding on to that which is not that which is not of the heart, the protected heart, and that which cannot heal. You can let go of it because you know the still point. You know what can be maintained in this. So I feel like if you're going through a kind of a tornado type of situation with the tower, because you're at the center of the tornado, you know what can be salvaged. You also know how to let go of that which needs to be let go of. So you're very much the calm point in the middle of a storm. That's part of your wisdom. And I would say at this point in time, there is something that is going to trigger that. So let's see what Spirit wants to say about what that is. What is calling upon this particular type of wisdom at this stage? Knight of Cups reversed. Page of Swords reversed. Two of Pentacles reversed. It's a very internal process here. The Devil. The Eight of Cups. Okay. This is most likely around some emotional relationship. I would say primarily, for most of you, this will probably be around a romantic relationship which you realise has either done its time or is not going to be what you had originally thought it was. Or you're helping someone else with that situation. With the Knight of Cups reversed, like some romantic offer or whatever is not what it appears. Page of Swords reversed. This is obvious to you because there is something that is wrong with the communication. Because you're so clear, your wisdom is so clear, you can pick up where there is something about an offer. Now, if it isn't an offer of love, if it isn't a cups energy on that level, there's still something that would be close to the heart. This is why you're protecting the heart, your heart or somebody else's heart that you're trying to help through a change like this. But there's something that's not right there. And it's not able to materially last. It's sort of with the Four of Pentacles. This is not something that is going to be able to materially manifest itself and grow. but it's very emotionally captivating. So if it's for you, you are going through this, getting to the still point, listening both to spirit and also to what's being said, knowing that you're at peace with yourself, even if it doesn't work out, so that you are not trapped in an emotional situation, so that you are able to let go. And if it is about someone else that you're helping, it's to help them break away from a misapprehension, an idea of something emotional, probably a relationship that is not going to be able to grow and is actually not healthy, so that they can walk away. So either way, you either help people a lot with that and you're being called upon to do that at the moment, or it may be something that's happening in your own life. But the beauty of it is that you do have the wisdom, that you have the wisdom to do this. So what new wisdom is going to arise once you go through this, whether it's you letting go of a relationship or an emotional connection or something close to the heart, or whether you're helping someone else. Justice reversed. Six of Wands reversed. Oh, this is interesting. The World. And this is interesting. You've got the World Snake. Ace of Wands reversed. Okay, there's one other thing this could be about because of that. The other thing, if it's not an emotional thing, your relationship or somebody's relationship that you're helping, it may be a creative project in some way. Because this looks to me as though there is something about timing and something that has to be complete for something else to come through. And this looks like some sort of creative idea. It could be a new passion as well. It could be a new love, new passion, or it could be a new creative idea. But it's interesting because we've got the Six of Wands reversed as well too. This looks as though something was not of its time. So it's like what you realize about this is that there is a time and a place for everything. And so whether it's a creative project, something close to your heart or somebody else's heart that you're helping, or a relationship, it was not the time for that to be recognized or to be victorious. So it's not just learning about what can withstand a storm or a tower moment. It's also recognizing that unless something is in its right time and place and the conditions have closed out to allow new energy to come through, it can't be born in that situation. If this is you helping someone deal with emotional loss or lack or a broken heart, then I think that what you learn about this is that energy where it couldn't be fairly dealt with, it couldn't be just, where the person wasn't being seen, the person wasn't being supported, that has to close out before anything new can come. So it's not just a process. It's almost as though your wisdom to date you've used in your own life and in others is in maintaining a storm. But the new wisdom that you're getting coming out of this is also how to then set the preconditions to close that out so that something new can be born. But to make sure that that doesn't occur until it is fully closed out, so that whatever you do want to bring forward is not done on more unstable ground, like it's ready, it can come into being. So there's a wisdom about not just getting through the storm, but also the closing out of the storm and the timing for anything new to be born. So let's have a look at the wisdom evolution. We're going to look at it with 3 different decks, and we're going to go from the beginning of this situation where you are needed to use this wisdom, and then how you evolve with that. So the first thing we're going to look at is the path of the illuminated soul, to see a sort of spiritual energy at each point. So when this storm, I think when the storm, the chaos, the destruction, all of those sort of things are occurring, and you are holding the still point in the center, we have renewal, the golden hour. As I sit by the river's edge watching the dying day, new seeds were sown. The wisdom that you have at the beginning is ultimately that something new has to be sown. I think what you learn in this process is when the time is right for that to occur. But I think that you are at just a still point in all of this, and you can see that this is necessary for the new. And then as you evolve through this, medicine, the universal healer, follow the rainbow full of universal love, healing becomes you. You realize that you are a healer for others. I do think this is more likely to be that you're helping someone else than it's you. But if it is you, what the other thing you realize is that you've learnt the whole cycle now, having gone through it yourself, and you can help others with it, and that you can heal yourself, so therefore you can help heal others. Let's see the alchemical process that's operated with your wisdom. So when you are in the eye of the storm, oil of vitriol. So this is where you know something has to be dealt with that is difficult. So vitriol is the sort of bitter tasting energy that does give strength, but it is also bitter. And so one has to either consume it or be consumed. You have the energy to consume rather than be consumed because you have the stillness and the understanding and the fortitude. So that's where you start alchemically. And then what this develops in you and takes you to the protection and the preservation of that which is precious and that which can last. So this, you understand the full cycle. That's what this is talking about. This is going through a full cycle on something, preserving the past so that the lessons are learnt, the wisdom is learnt so that something new can start. Resin is all about preserving precious things because resin as a substance is liquid, something precious can be put in it and then it actually solidifies and protects that thing. So there is a protective healing energy that is part of this for you, but it's partly because you have this capacity to deal with the bittersweet and the difficult. You already have that. So let's see a couple of planetary pairings that also show this evolution. I mean, you're the person to have around when there's a storm, but particularly I think around emotional things. I think you have a really deep calm that is incredibly healing and restorative to people. So at the beginning we have Sun and Neptune. Yeah, this is you go within. All of that was going within to the ideal, going into the liminal. You are very spiritual. That's a very strong part of your path. And then the energy as you emerge from this process is Venus and Uranus. Yeah, this has got to do with the heart. In one form or another, you kind of come out being able to keep the beauty in the change and to revive and electrify the concept of what is close to the heart. So very, as I say, restorative. It's not just helping people withstand, it's helping people regroup, either through your own experience that you go through with this or in helping others. Let's get you a couple of really powerful guides as well. Diviner. Wow, and Zila, look at that. Look at the lightning around her. I think these two really make sense and they show the process. I mean, it wasn't naturally thinking of here to here, but it's interesting because diviner is cool, rational thought. It's a capacity not to sort of be swayed too much, to be in the center, in the middle of all the storm and see with rational clarity what is going on. So I think that this is bringing you that still point, that sense of how things fit into the bigger whole, as I say, the microcosm and the macrocosm, and why things are occurring without getting emotionally triggered. There is a capacity of being able to listen, connect into, and be at peace. Then there is a new creation, because Zila is like a feminine divine energy, and she is electric, and it is an electrifying energy. So going within to the liminal, into the contemplative phase in the middle of the storm and seeing it rationally and not being swayed, and then coming out of it with the electrified, inspired energy to bring something new into place. It has a healing effect on people, but the beauty about it, it's also a restorative in a different way. It actually re-enlivens energy and re-enlivens the heart, I think, is part of what's going on here. So let's just see what the Mercury Oracle has to say, because this is about, what is your Serpent's wisdom path on that level? Go through the gateway. Yeah, that makes sense that we've got a sense of momentum. This is about a sense of momentum. It's about the new world, the next thing. But I think for you, there is the wisdom to understand the change and what to carry with you. No. Okay. So no to something. There is something you're not meant to do when you do it. And I suspect it is not taking through that which no longer fits in the new world, but we will see what that is saying. Find fire. So where is the heart? This is actually to wake up the Ace of Wands reverse as we saw. This is about finding the new creation out of it. Harmonize with patterns. Yes, see the patterns, see the bigger picture. There is order in chaos. There is order in chaos. You know that, you see that. So what is it? What do you not take? What is not to go through the gateway with you? Employing chaos. Okay, the chaos is not taken through the gateway. The chaos is what you are finding the order in and dispassionately doing it. Once you've done that, you don't take chaos into the next energy. The chaos is a situation that you go through, you endure, you help others to endure, you protect what is precious, but you do not carry that energy into the new. Everything at its time. What gateway are you meant to walk through? Clear your mind. Yeah, to do this, I think to be able to do this, you have to be able to go within and get the clarity. But where are you going? Will you tell us? Mercury Oracle? Going over the bridge. It's just saying, look, it doesn't matter. I think it's saying, look, it doesn't matter. It's going to depend on who comes to this reading. It's just that there is a shift and a change. You cannot stay in the tower and the chaos forever. You can be a still point and a creative energy within that, but eventually you have to clear that and move on. That is really important. Just one other thing around the order in chaos. Scorpio, okay. So there's something about almost a forensic understanding about what's going on. And it's passionate, it's intense, it's deep. And again, it's probably showing up in a lot of very Scorpio-related energies, passions, love, desire, intensity. The chaos is probably intense, but there is also order, and I think Diviner helps with that. But this is definitely showing you have a wisdom to go through the storm and not carry the storm with you when the new is starting. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to get some advice from a very big serpent from the dragon realm. So what would the dragons want to say to you in terms of using your wisdom? Portal between worlds. There you go. Receive with an open heart and mind, for you are a portal to the divine. You are connected to the higher realms and you have the power to create harmony and balance by channeling the light through your being. Yeah, this is the thing. Your capacity to be the still point, the calm point, and the healing point in the chaos is the thing that creates the portal to the new that is not chaotic. Very powerful. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 2, to your reading. So right from the outset, this is going to be an interesting reading. You came to the reading with wit and cunning. It says knowledge is the solution. That in and of itself, when we're talking about wise as serpents, suggests a little bit, not necessarily the trickster energy of the serpent, but the kind of strategic end of the scale, let's put it that way. And when we look at the two blue dragonfly things, we have thirst for revenge, conspiracy, victim role, justice will be served, anger, and genetic eyeliner, fearless courage, inner strength, and incentive. This feels, I've got to say, like the first thing it sort of feels like is very Machiavellian. It could be that you're dealing with somebody who, wants revenge against you or somebody that you care about, or you may have a thirst for revenge on some level as well. But whatever it is, this feels like, what it feels like to me is like being in a medieval court. I would often say in my career that I thought, surviving the upper echelons of organisations was like surviving a medieval court. Very similar sort of thing around a lot of intrigue, a lot of complex relationships, power dynamics, the use of information, all of that kind of thing. There is something here which is saying, and it could be a bit morally ambivalent, or it could be that you have every justification. Something really wrong might have happened to you or to someone you care about. Or you may be dealing with someone who is bent on revenge, either against you or somebody else, and it could be very unfair. But what it is saying is this is a situation where you're going to have to use your wit and cunning. You're going to have to find out what you can. And I think you're going to have to understand all the dynamics and present yourself in a particular way, even if it feels a little bit daunting, to show that you're ready and up for this. And I think you are. Like this is saying, how are you wise as serpents? You are able to do this. You are the sort of person who would have survived a medieval court, but there's something like that going on at the moment. There's some complex stuff. And whether this is in the most personal relationships or whether it's something in your career or socially or politically or in a spiritual group, there's some other dynamic operating here where you have to, knowledge is power, and you need to kind of gather that to you. So let's see what is your particular special wisdom that will be drawn upon now. Then let's have a look about a little bit more about what's going on. What is triggering the need for that wisdom? Then we're going to look at what other wisdom in you going through this and using your current wisdom is going to emerge as a result of this situation. So firstly, a little bit more about your special wisdom that's going to be drawn on in this situation. Page of Wands reversed. Eight of Wands, Two of Cups, the Chariot reversed. Oh, okay. Two of Pentacles. Okay. I suspect there's something very personal. This is at the most likely is something around a relationship connection, a love connection, where there could be a third party or other parties that are wanting to interfere or stop something or get in the way or determine a choice. Or it's about sort of something that is sort of like some other alliance. Because your capacity to know where there are blocks to the freedom of this situation, like to understand what's going on, and there's ego issues operating here. So to understand the ego issues that are blocking freedom, to know where the true alliances are, and again, where the true alliances are being blocked, and what the true material choices are. What are the true options rather than sugarcoating it? That's the wisdom. It's like understanding how to navigate a situation where you have a wish to move forward with something and to make the right connections, but there are equal or opposing ego energies trying to block that and stop that and maybe limit the choices that are available. Like one of the things I sort of look at there, again, thinking about the medieval court, this would be the sort of spread I could imagine having put out for someone who was, say, in a medieval court, the daughter of some aristocratic family who thought they could find favour with a king, by making a connection of some sort. And that would very much limit the freedom of the daughter, that kind of energy. There's sort of some wisdom of understanding that, of understanding the various parties involved in a situation, whether it's love or politically or work or whatever it is, and a dynamic between freedom and limitation and ego impulses impacting choices. So understanding the subtle power dynamics in a situation is part of this. And I also feel too, when we got the, knowledge is power, and the Two of Cups naturally fell there, I feel like also a knowledge that you have or a wisdom you have is knowing who to go to for intelligence, for intel, for information. That's also something that's going to be important in this situation, whatever the situation is. So let's see a little bit more about the situation. Let's see if we can work out what is making this such a complex, sensitive, I think, political environment, like small p politics through to large p politics. What's actually going on? Seven of Wands reversed. The Lovers reversed. Oh, there's definitely something about allegiances and connections. Ten of Pentacles reversed. Ten of Cups. The Fool. Okay. Again, like the thing I keep feeling with this is like a daughter of an aristocratic family who maybe has someone she wants to love and go off with, but then there's all this other intrigue going on. It's just an example because obviously we don't live in quite that world now, though. Certain cultures may be more like that, I don't know, currently, but certainly sort of in my culture it's not really such a big deal, or at least not in the sort of social strata that I move in. But there's something here about having the courage to make the right connections at a time where there is some major power dynamics and power shifts operating. So this could be around alliances that one makes of a romantic nature that have some sort of power or economic dynamic. And there is the possibility for something very long-lasting and good and a new direction, but it needs a lot of courage to do that, and I'd say a lot of intel to know really what's at stake. Or it's some sort of allegiance that isn't about love, but it is about whose side you're on and where is the power going to be. And there is a promise of something very good potentially coming out of it, but there's some sort of bravery to deal with something that was wrong or restrictive or something. And I think that If you were someone, as I say, going back to the analogy of the daughter in an aristocratic family being kind of bargained off for the favour of a king or something like that, you might very much want revenge for that, but you know that you have to present yourself a particular way to navigate this. So I feel like whatever this is, whatever the restriction and the issue is around this that you're dealing with or you're helping someone else deal with, the answer to it is not just going straight out for revenge. The answer is finding the best allegiances to be able to have the freedom to move forward. So success is the best revenge, actually, is sort of like the feeling of this. So what new wisdom arises in whatever this is that you're doing? You've got to apply it to whatever the situation is for you, because I'm just using examples here. But what wisdom will rise for you as a result, I think, of navigating this complex situation? Nine of Swords, King of Swords reversed, the Empress. Yeah, this is why I keep feeling the female side of this, the Wheel of Fortune. Like, I mean, because, I'm sure it was the case too with sons, when there was a queen or whatever. But it feels very strongly like something like the patriarchy and the female line or whatever. Now, it doesn't have to be that. But I think how to raise your fortunes or the fortune of the one that might have been kind of, like gussied up and bartered off, like whatever was at stake, you will see how to bring good fortune around for that and how to create what you want. You'll also learn how to deal with the fear of what is wrong in that and get a great clarity out of that. I think also with the Nine of Swords, I always say we actually catastrophize with the Nine of Swords. We see things as much worse than they are. So I think part of the wisdom that comes out of this is you'll realize that in getting the intel and finding the clarity and knowing what is not true allows you then to create a better outcome. So it's like you see a process. And I think it really is kind of like going from thinking, I just want to get revenge, to actually I want to use my wisdom and create what I want, and therefore success is the best revenge, as I say. Okay, so let's see this as a kind of spiritual development from where you start in this complex situation to where you can end up sort of having used the wisdom of serpents. So let's first of all look at it through the path of the illuminated soul. So where you're sort of starting is reflection, the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all. Yeah, there's something about how one, yeah, it is. I guess it is also a bit like the fairy story, like something like Snow White or something. That's another really good analogy for this, and knowing how to rise above that. But this is like, reflection, understanding what is happening, and also understanding that how you present yourself is going to be really important here. And then what you move towards. Renewal, the golden hour. As I sit by the river's edge watching the dying day, new seeds were sown. So the new seeds, the better beginning is what you can get out of this, but you won't get out of it by sugarcoating it and pretending everything's fine. You have to understand you're in a complex, very, very sort of like, as I say, political, small p political type of scenario. So let's see how that operates almost alchemically for you. How does this development of wisdom operate alchemically? You start, smoke. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Yes, something's going on. You're not wrong. Also, you have to smoke things out. You have to find, and smoke in the laboratory in alchemy says that something is wrong, something is, or at least something is brewing. So you do need to kind of really understand that and like prepare yourself to deal with it. So where there's smoke, there's fire. What about where you're heading towards? Spring, renewal. Like, so you will come out of this, but you have to be very careful. You have to understand it's quite a complex and sort of dangerous, like, it could be just dangerous psychologically or dangerous emotionally, but it's a kind of a risky environment. That's why you have to kind of wear a bit of a mask, work out the allegiances, get the intel, and then move on once you have that. So what astrology energy will help you? When you first start, Mars and Chiron. There's something about the male and the female here, as I say, and it's like there is maybe some healing to the masculine energy and the power politics or whatever. That's why revenge is not actually going to work in its most pure form. It's more, as I say, seeing that heal, moving on and having a better outcome is the best outcome. And what about what it's developing towards? Uranus and Pluto, major change. So that's why I think we've got the Empress and the Wheel of Fortune. Like, it's not like this is, you will be able to move through this situation and then stop it from replicating. So you can create something a lot healthier. If this was, say, a workplace where there was a lot of intrigue and backbiting and cliques or whatever, it's almost as though coming through this understanding, you get elevated to a position where you can create a different environment that isn't full of that. As I say, it's kind of like bringing a better outcome, but it's a very big change that you bring into being. So it can't be like that going forward is sort of the situation we're talking about. So given such a powerful thing, let's get you a couple of powerful guides that will help you. Zarathus. And Morpheus. Oh, okay. So why I went with Morpheus is it makes me think of the Matrix movies. But Zarathus, to start with Zarathus, he's about the ending of a cycle. As I say, there's something in all of this where you are going to shift a way that something is done. You are going to create something healthier. But you are now at that zenith. You're at that point where the old order is at its height of potential corruption, to put it mildly, and you then are going to bring in something new. So that energy is there. Morpheus helps you make sure the new is not corrupted by the old, because Zarathus will not let the present, it's the present that has to go in the past, will not let that come through. And Morpheus allows for the integration of the subconscious and the conscious so that you have clarified thinking and so that you are not creating a new shadow. So this feels like the end of one political regime and the beginning of another without a new corrupt one coming in its place. What I like about this is that you have a situation, whatever it is, whether it's in a relationship, a work situation, a political situation, where you actually do have the capacity to navigate this complex decaying system, that's what it feels like, or decaying set of relationships, to find the new good ones and create something that will not replicate that actually is a truly better and new and more healthy kind of way of doing things. So very, very powerful. Okay, let's see what the Mercury Oracle has to say then about your path. Connect to higher states. Yeah, it is really important for you to do this because it's such a murky situation and you might have every good reason for wanting revenge, but that is a lower order energy. Yeah, return to love. Like, it's like you have to kind of bring something that is truer and more of the heart in and better connections. Use your lock as a key, my favourite card in this deck. There's something about the situation and being able to navigate this situation and kind of when in Rome do as the Romans do that actually allows you to find the key to break free of it as well. Go over the bridge, yeah. Something has to shift and it cannot go back. You're moving forward. Follow your heart. Yeah, this is very much about heart-centered, but you're in a very political, power-oriented, ego-oriented environment. So let's just have a look and see a little bit about the lock as a key. What else can we learn about that? Activate your intuition. So go within, to understand. You go with your gut instinct in this environment. Maybe use a little bit of mirror magic maybe as well. Go through the mirror. Oh, that is just too bizarre. I hadn't drawn that. I was just shuffling and doing this. So there's something about the mirror to me is understanding what the reality is, because a mirror sees things in reverse. So it's like going through to see what something actually is. There's something about truly understanding yourself as well as the situation. Let's see what going over the bridge draws you towards. Jupiter. Yeah, a much better and much more expansive way of being. So yeah, you are tasked with taking something from the past or moving the present into the past and creating something new. That's where the wisdom is necessary, but it's a very triggering environment. It would be very easy to just go with revenge or replicate it again and justify it. But like what this is saying is you have the wisdom not to do that. and therefore to integrate it in such a way that it fully heals. So we definitely in this world need people like you, so more power to you on that. To finish off, we're just going to get a last piece of advice from some of the greatest serpents of all, from the Dragon Oracle. So what would a dragon like to tell you to bring this all together? Shoulder to shoulder, let your wisdom and determination pave the way to a better world. You are stronger than you think, and your vision has the power to create change. Trust your inner strength and let intuition guide you forward. Yeah, you're the one for this in whatever it is. Whether it's just about healthier relationships and family and friendships, or whether it's on the world stage politically, you're here for a reason, and you are meant to create a better order. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 3, to your reading. So you came to the very interesting She Viper, Use Your Venom. And this card talks about, firstly, being able to stand up for yourself, strike back, bite, use venom if necessary when you're under threat. But it also talks about using it wisely, and also understanding that venom can be sort of deadly, but it can also be medicinal. So I think this is about using your capacity to defend yourself. I feel like with venom, how you can speak, how you can present things, all of that in a way that is judicious and which brings you the outcome you want. But it does suggest that you need this wisdom because there's somebody competing with you, or there's somebody who is an issue, or some people or some situation, which makes it very interesting when we see the two blue dragonfly cards. So firstly, we have Midnight Breakfast, which talks about alternative solution, expect the unexpected, plan B. This suggests that your wisdom is going to be called upon when something doesn't go to plan, and you have to have another plan ready, but you also have to be ready to defend the core thing that you're trying to do, that then allows you to win public recognition, career, skills and talent, success. So I feel as though this is most likely to be playing out in something like a creative or a career prospect, but or maybe an athletic one or something like that. But it suggests to me that there is a block that is coming because someone or something is threatening what you're trying to do. The outcome is meant to be that you use this wisely, wise as serpents, and then you win. And whether it's that brings into being the plan B and makes that work, or whether you can actually manage to win back enough ground that you don't even have to do plan B, that you can resurrect plan A. But either way, this is about understanding how to deal with a competitor, a threat in some way. So let's see a little bit more with tarot. Firstly, we're going to look at what your special wisdom is that you're being called upon to use. Then we're going to ask why. Like, what is this situation that's going to require a plan B and requires you to judiciously heal the situation at best, or fight back if you're being threatened at worst. And then we'll have a look at what new wisdom you get out of this situation. So firstly, a little bit more about the special wisdom that you have in this scenario. King of Pentacles, Six of Swords reversed, the Sun reversed, Page of Swords. So your voice, like what you can say, you're probably very witty and very, you can be sharp-tongued if you need to be. And the Star reversed. Okay. You have a very clear understanding of what you're trying to achieve. And there is a huge amount of potential in what you're trying to achieve. So whether this is, you're in competitive sports, you really do have the physicality for it. If it's a career, you really are meant to be very successful. Whatever it might be, you really do. You get the industry, you get the rules, you get the structure, you get what it would mean to manifest the outcome. And you are very good at articulating and communicating. And I think this is primarily where the venom can be used if you have to, but use it judiciously. But what you are also extremely good at is understanding when you have been taken off path. With the Sun reversed, the Star reversed, and the Six of Swords reversed, you can pick that up. You have a frequency of understanding of the consequences of things that you know when you might have to go to an alternative solution or a plan B. You're able to be flexible. You see when the tides are turning in a way that doesn't work for you. You can be flexible and work out what is necessary, and you can re-articulate your plan. So you're able to do that because you pick it up. you're not the sort of person who, if something was sort of starting to go wrong, would stick your head in the sand. You actually see it. You see it way out from when other people would see it. And you know when there's a threat. You've got a kind of psychic awareness of that. So because of that, you have a very good capacity to get it back on track, or to be flexible and go to plan B so that you continue to win. But you know that if this is occurring, like what you're doing, is something that should succeed. So if this is occurring, if it's going off path, there's a threat. So you can pick that up, and you're not, as I say, you don't stick your head in the sand. You don't go, everything's fine. I don't want to see it. You're very realistic. So what's the situation where this could be occurring, where you're going to need to use that special wisdom? Death, so that's change or choice. Something's changing in the scenario that you're in. 7 of Cups, 6 of Wands reversed, Page of Pentacles reversed, 9 of Swords reversed. Okay. So this is actually saying like kind of what the situation is and also why you're going to win. This is what it's saying. Firstly, something is changing in the fabric of this, of what's possible, in the material world, what's possible. Something is changing. One has to recalibrate plans at this time and make choices. And know that there are choices, and know what is real and what isn't real. What is a pathway that takes you off your path and is too good to be true? What is a pathway that is right? What is going on is that others around you, and this is why you're going to win, are really about, like the recognition and the winning just for winning's sake, as opposed to having something true that they're heading towards. As a result, they haven't planned. They don't worry enough. They don't pick this up. So there's something there's a situation where, it would be like if you and a number of people were all competing for, some sort of promotion or a prize or something like that. What differentiates you and what this situation is providing for you is your particular wisdom of being able to see way out when something's going off course and be able to recalibrate. There is a decision and a change and some different options arising, and you're going to see it ahead of them. They're much more like, we're continuing to get the sort of ticks along the way, it's all fine, but they're not planning, they're not seeing it, they're not sensing it. So you may have to use venom, but it may not even be that you have to do a great deal of that. It just might be that you have to, your capacity to look at the venom of things and see the healing properties as opposed to, so like looking at the bitter stuff and like dealing with it is going to be a competitive advantage. And there's something like that going on where the others have failed to plan. And so effectively, as they say, plan to fail. So let's see what other wisdom comes out of it, because you've already got the wisdom that knows that you have to be paying a lot of attention and being ready and seeing the signs, while others are just kind of like competing almost in the old unformed view as opposed to what is really starting to emerge. But what new wisdom will you find in this situation? Page of Wands reversed, 8 of Cups, Ace of Wands reversed, the Magician. Okay. You're going to find your talent to create what you want more than you actually realize that you had, and the very strong power of your communication. But the real thing that I think it might even surprise you a little bit, I think that you really see in this how the only way to win and to use the skills is to walk away from aims that are just ego. So it's almost as though, and maybe this is even something that was there for you too. Maybe you were in a very competitive environment, you're used to competition, and you've been driven by that a bit. But there's something about you have this edge because you want the best outcome. So you're going to be looking at the truth rather than just your ego. And on some level, you've been able to make it not about your ego. And that's why you win. But you didn't really realize that was going to happen. It's sort of like, it's almost, you didn't realize how much others were drawn by their ego and what a competitive advantage it is to see things as they actually are and to be ready to be flexible. Like, it actually makes me think, I've often said the people who are the most successful are the people who understand both their skills and abilities, but also their lacks. Like, because if you build both from skill and from lack, you understand, where you need others to help or where something is not going to be your strong point, and you're not spending a lot of time trying to pretend you can do all things. So, but if you come from a very ego-based thing that never wants to say that you lack anything, then you are almost setting it up not to work. So I think you have this wisdom of seeing things as they actually are. So let's see how this evolves over time from the beginning of this sort of situation where you're being called upon to use your wisdom of serpents and then the outcome of it. So firstly, on a spiritual level with the path of the illuminated soul. Strategy, the game of chess. If life is at stalemate, consider the board, plan your next move. Yeah, you look at it strategically. Like I think the difference here might be, and whatever this is that you look at the game, if you think of the game of chess, as the point. And like, if you have reversals or things don't turn out as you expect, then you recalibrate to work out what to do next. Whereas if others are just like, I've got to win, they may miss the subtleties, I think. And you've always thought everybody plays the way that you do, but actually you'll learn that that's not the case. And then how this sort of develops. Intervention, the divine prayer. When the way is unclear, you just have to ask, the universe will help. So it's like you recognizing that things are unclear. That has the humility, the humbleness that allows you to get the support of the universe. Like there is strength in humility. See it alchemically for you. So where do you start with being in this sort of complex game? Sulfur. Yeah, okay. Sulfur is a very powerful chemical, I guess it would be, or property in the alchemical process. Too much of it stinks. Like you can smell it a mile off. That's kind of the thing. You know when something is sort of like going in the wrong direction. So you're sensing that when others are maybe not sensing it. And then we head towards oil of vitriol. Yeah, you're able to command this because you can look at it and deal with it. Like literally venom, oil of vitriol. Like it's, if you see that as a kind of a healing property to look at the truth, you consume the oil as opposed to the, being consumed by the lion here. It's sort of like this is your competitive advantage, your capacity to deal with that, to sense when it's coming and to face it head on. Okay, what astrology energy helps you? Mars and Chiron. Like there's something here about a healing energy, but also a learning energy. Chiron is also the teacher of magicians. So I think there's a sort of a sense here of your actions and the way that you act, like is a teachable moment for others if they looked at it. But beyond that, it's sort of like you heal the situation and move forward when you see that something's going off course. And Mars, and then you can just move forward. Like then you win. Then it's all go. Because you've taken away the blocks and you've understood them and you're dealing with it. You're not being held back by ego or other things like that. You're just, sprinting towards the finish line, so to speak. Let's get you a couple of powerful guides for this scenario. Coronos. Wow, he looks powerful, all right. And Pangeo. Well, they both look quite like warriors, don't they? No wonder we've got all this Mars sort of energy around it. So what's interesting about them, and kind of similar about them, is that they both talk a bit about mountains, big things. There's something big about this. Climbing the mountain of ambition, the mountain of whatever your aims are and so forth. But it's also about how you use, it's telling you how you win, because Coronos says when you climb the mountain and you do it to look down on others, when it's all about ego, that will actually come back to bite you. So it's effectively like the venom is that way. When you look at the bigness of this and you call upon the powers of the universe, then it's like standing on the shoulders of giants. If you try to fight giants, you're going to lose. But if you're standing on the shoulders of giants, you're going to win. So that's the energy. It's like the humility and the understanding and the acceptance of the importance of this, and like your role in it, and that you need the support or whatever, and that you need your plan B is what makes you win. But if you are just to win, just to be higher than other people, then Coronos will actually cut that off and make you kind of like it kind of like literally like the side, it cuts off the capacity to win. So it's understanding that dynamic is really important. Okay, let's see what the Mercury Oracle has to say about your pathway in this situation where you need to be as wise as serpents. Harmonize with patterns. So you understand the patterns and move with them and change with them. That makes sense. Like seeing it and harmonizing rather than trying to avoid them. Create. There's a creative approach. It's something creative about what you do. You create the plan B. You create the different ways of doing things. Mercury. Okay, so your communication, you have really good communication skills that we're showing it before. How you communicate is really important in all of this, and it moves fast. Things move fast with Mercury. Jupiter, it is meant to be for the good of all and for the expansion of all. So you're focused on that, winning for the best outcome, not winning for ego. That's good. But of course, Jupiter, when it expands too much, if you fell into the ego trap, would be your undoing as well. But you seem to have the wisdom and the understanding to deal with this. Do not forget. Yes, do not forget what you have seen here. Do not forget the patterns. Let's just sort of see what patterns you need to harmonize with. Okay, sleep. It may say to you that there are dreams. You're going to get a lot of information coming in dreams, and the patterns will show up in dreams. It might be why you've got a early distant warning system that others don't have. Don't forget your dreams. Pay attention to your dreams. The moon, things that happen at night. And the psychic, the spiritual, and so forth. Just want one more to see what you're meant to create. Seek the edge. Getting right to the edge. Create the sort of thing right at the edge, the thing that really is pushing stuff to the new. That's what's important for you. Okay, to finish off, we're just going to get a last message from the biggest serpents of all, from the dragons. So see what dragon has a message for you, pile 3. Wow, empty halls of the underground. Do not fear stillness, for within the void lies the potential for new growth and transformation. It is from this emptiness that you can draw on collective wisdom and connect to the deepest truth. So it may be that this all is triggered by something that seems to ground to a halt and it feels too still, and you start to see what's going on and you create the new plan that is the breakthrough. But there is something about creating something that's new and on the edge coming out of this. That's how you win. You win from that, from being clear with first principles, prepared to defend yourself and prepared to be flexible when necessary, as opposed to people who it's all about ego. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.